Now I'm just a handful. What else we got? Yeah, I mean, the Hive tour said tariffs killing the crypto. I mean, again, it makes no sense that it would impact crypto prices to me. I mean, I'm sure there's ways you could connect it, but overall, I think it's kind of nonsensical.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm dealing with like 900 fires at the same time, but the crypto markets have obviously not cooperated very well. I think it's really crazy. Like I've been watching a lot of stuff on X, related to, like Trump and possible like, manipulation of the markets and whatnot. Um, so that's been obviously something that's fun to pay attention to. I know there was like a huge leverage long, like a 50x leverage long that people were tracking
oh
right
wow.
on Sunday. Yeah, right on Sunday, right before that news hit. And then shortly thereafter, like yesterday, today, there was a huge short, with 50x leverage again, that made a ton of money, with like $60
Unreal.
million in unrealized
Oh
gains.
my
So
God, what? Man.
yeah, so people are just tracking a lot of this stuff and that's, by the way, just the stuff that they can track on chain. I mean, there's probably all sorts of obfuscated, routes that people are using. Um, so yeah, it's definitely been something that's been kind of fun to watch. Uh,
Yeah,
and
I definitely would have
keep
liked to
track
have
of.
been in front of my machine Sunday into Monday. Unfortunately, I was on the road. I'm pretty sure I would have made some trades on the futes, in addition to, what I was doing with the spot position I've been building. And yeah, it was some easy trading. And then I guess for those in the know, some really easy trading. Those are crazy leverage longs. I am surprised though, like it really gave it all, like literally Sunday's candle, we got that huge moonshot, and then Monday's candle literally gave it the whole thing back. Like they're almost the identical sizes. You don't see that very often, that big of a move, um, canceling each other out in a 48-hour period. So it'd be interesting to see what happens too, because like obviously today we're off the lows. I mean, we're 3,500 points off the lows. It poked through the 200-day moving average again, and now it's above it. So is the 200-day moving average coming into play? This is twice now we've tested it and it's bounced above. Obviously, this candle still has like 6.5 hours to close, but the 200-day moving average really hasn't been something that's come into play on the charts as much over the years. Like literally, I think like 3 out of 10 times. Um, but yeah, as far as price action goes, I'm paying attention to the monthly. Um, we at least touch the 10 period moving average on the monthly to make us like, less overbought. Um, but, looking at this, there's no reason that um, this month and next month, assuming they're down months, that we could go down to, 72 and even, you know, worst case scenario, even into the 50s based on just prior moves after, we've gone up. I don't know that I see that happening. Um, I would love to actually get into the 70s though. Um, Also, there's that liquidity gap that everyone was talking about on Bitcoin from 77 to 87K. So we've danced around in that, but did we really fill it? Um, because price, never got into the 77s. Yeah, I guess it really depends what chart you're looking at, what service, what exchange, or if you're looking at the futures chart. The CME futures chart that I'm looking at, it like half filled the gap because the low wasn't even as low as the spot price on Coinbase. So who knows? Maybe we still need to revisit that, and we're going to see, you know, get down, down to 77. But that is my recap on chart and price action stuff. Um, Either way, I like how I've positioned myself. I don't really care if we go down further. I'll be buying, and if we go up, I'll be selling. I did my
Yeah,
acquiring.
yeah, it's it's always tough to buy when things are bloody. But that's when all the money's made. So being a contrarian sometimes can be can pay off really well. Obviously, when everything's going up, it seems like a great idea to buy and everybody's happy and whatever. But when things are tough and people are, thinking that the sky's falling down, that's tends to be the best place to make money, um, historically. So so yeah, we just keep pushing forward, keep keep grinding away. Um, so one one thing you can only always count on is just like building and doing what's in your power. Because at the end of the day, I think yeah, you guys can hear me typing. I'm talking to probably like 30 people at the same time. But one thing that's always in your power is the ability to build and focus on what's in your control. The markets are not in your control, but if you can get involved with a project and be active, that's in your control, and it's what can lead to, prosperity on most fronts. So, that's always what I've fallen back on is the markets are very uncertain, but what is certain is your ability to build and be involved in various projects. And I know most of us here are, obviously very heavily involved on a day-to-day basis. So being involved in that way is obviously gives a lot more potential for abundance than just like buying and hoping. I don't love the buy and hope strategy. So if you can avoid that buy and hope strategy, you can do pretty well. You just you focus your daily efforts on building, and then outside of that, if you find a great asset like Bitcoin and believe in it in the long run, you buy it and you hold it for a very long period of time, and the ups and downs just don't matter.
Yep.
The downs, if anything, the downs are opportunity for you, and the ups are, something to look at and a way to tell you that you're on the right track. So,
Yeah. Control what you can control, which is, the capital you have to work with, the time frame you have to work with, all that stuff. So, I mean, it's taken me, almost 10 years basically. I mean, 9 years ago I got into Bitcoin. And unfortunately Steam, which led to Hive. And there's, so much opportunity I missed just by on just overthinking it or whatever. And it's like just build a position and let time do its thing. And you know, so um I finally am really doing that now. And I came up with a game plan, and my whole thing was like, all right, I really don't want to start doing this at like 95, 97K. I think there's going to be a dip. I feel like, because of the monthly chart, we were going to break below 90 at some point, or 92 at least. So I was like, all right, I'll start buying at 92, which might even be aggressive, but that's the bottom of the range. That was the support. So I was like, if we keep bouncing off 92, great. I get, some at the bottom of the range. If we break it, then all right, that's my first purchase. And then, you got your price points going down. So, I bought again at 87. Um, I was gonna buy at 80, like 182 where the 200-day moving average is, but we were just dumping. So I'm like, screw that. I'm looking for lower, and I was able to get lower. I got in like 79.7. Um, so at the end of the day, it's like I acquired new Bitcoin essentially in like the mid to high 80s, when you kind of put all three purchases together, and that's fine. We could go lower, and I don't care because I'm plowing all that into liquidity pools anyway. So let Bitcoin do its thing and earn yield while we're churning around. Um, because I don't know that I see us making new all-time highs, within the next 2 months. So in the meantime, I can earn yield. But who knows? We'll see what happens at the whole crypto summit conference thing. Maybe that'll cause crypto to moon again. I mean, hell,
yeah,
if
I just think we're in this weird period of time where any little, like, I mean, like the little good news that we keep getting each day, like you know the lawsuit against Kraken yesterday, or the investigation or whatever, was dropped. And it's just like every day you continue to see a lot of different a lot of different positive news for crypto, but then um, you know, price obviously isn't going up. So it's it's like I said, it's just a tough market. But again, if you can focus on your building every single day, and then kind of hold your long-term assets, you can do well in the long run. So that's all I can recommend to people at the end of the day is, find those assets that you really, care about and think will be successful in the long run, and focus on those. And, while you do that, find something to build and be active with so you can maintain your sanity. I would say maintaining your sanity in a market like this is the hardest part. So just maintain your sanity and keep pushing forward is all I could say. Um, so
Indeed, indeed. Ha!
speaking of building things and maintaining your sanity.
Yes, that's crypto summit is the 7th at the White House, and it's going to be, prominent crypto CEOs and whatever else figures that will be there as well. So I don't know. I don't know that we'll get any kind of crazy news that sends the market up. That would have to be like them literally saying, "All right, Bitcoin reserve is starting, and we will start buying." That I think is about the only thing that could send the market higher. So anyway, speaking of building things, what's the
Yeah.
latest?
Yeah, well, we've been obviously, as you guys know, there's just been a lot going on behind the scenes. We've been pushing hard on the INLEO proposal for Hive, and just trying to like improve everything on all fronts, which is which has always been really important to me, is improving and pushing the boundaries of what's possible. Um, so, that's really vital. Is it, how can you improve things? How can you push them forward? How can you make the technology better? And also make it, easy to sign up and sign in for users. So that's been obviously a huge focus for us since 2020, is, how do we make it really easy for people to join INLEO and join Hive? With ease of use and security, et cetera. Uh, so we've developed all sorts of login methods and different ways of signing people up and onboarding them. So that stuff has really kind of pushed INLEO to the forefront in terms of signing up new accounts and getting people active on Hive. So we've continued to develop that stuff and improve it. And uh, as part of the proposal, and obviously, we've been talking to a lot of different people and putting out a lot of different stuff. Um, we a big piece of the updated proposal, and if you haven't seen it over the last kind of week, we've put a lot of updates in there. We're now open sourcing all of INLEO's onboarding technology and the sign-in frameworks, et cetera. So like KeyStore, LeoAuth, and then also we've been working on various extensions and connecting them to Hive accounts. So there's a big conversation happening right now about security and giving people a secure login method when they come to Hive. So there's a trade-off between like security and ease of use in many cases. So a lot of people want to sign up and sign into Hive with a very low barrier to entry. And in order to do that, you're going to have, some security trade-offs. You're going to have, some trade-offs in exchange for that convenience factor. So we've developed a bunch of different login methods that have varying levels of security and convenience. Obviously, the best trade-off of like security plus convenience is going to be keychain, because when you've got a sandbox that handles your keys, which is keychain, it definitely gives you a lot more security. Um, and then it's still also relatively easy to use. The problem is it's relatively easy to use, meaning when you've already kind of gotten familiar with Hive, then downloading Hive Keychain and plugging in your keys and everything, that becomes a little bit easier to digest. The problem is, for a brand new user, they don't want to have to download an extension just to use the apps on Hive. They want to have like a seamless way to just jump right in. So that's what our login methods have always intended to be, which is a seamless way to just jump right in and get started. So as we've kind of continued to develop and push these forward, it's become really obvious that we need to, open source these things and make them available to other UIs. There's a few big reasons behind that. But we've been onboarding so many new users, and those users need to essentially learn about Hive and get started, and then download Hive Keychain if they want to use other Hive apps. So we want to make it so that, every Hive app can start to use, this technology really easily, and we can just kind of expand and make our onboarding exponential, especially as we do these collaborations as part of the INLEO proposal for the DHF. So, so open sourcing the onboarding tech that we've built has become a big focus. And then, honestly, this is like a first kind of step. If this goes well, we'll consider and kind of continue to open source more of INLEO. So what I imagine happening is, obviously we're pushing to get this proposal through. We've kind of been fighting with the line. We're like plus or minus 100K with the line at kind of all times. So, we were funded for a few hours this morning. Now we're at 99%, and it just kind of, we keep bouncing up above and below. So, definitely been a battle to get to where we are. But what I want to do is shift INLEO more towards open source contributions on Hive. So I'm talking with a lot of different Hive projects about what we can do to open source more of INLEO, starting obviously with this onboarding technology, and then pushing forward to other arenas, and really just kind of open sourcing all the different social side of things that we do. So, the INLEO UI, the INLEO backend, things like that. The referral system. I just want to slowly start to open source every piece of that. A big thing for me when it comes to open sourcing is open sourcing finalized products. So, I see a lot of open source code that's like 80% done, and obviously that's not very effective and useful for ecosystems. So I don't want to open source code that's like 80% delivered. It's the last 20% that's always hard when it comes to software. So we're focused on kind of packaging these things as finalized products that can be open sourced and useful to other Hive apps. And I just kind of want to progress from where we are now in this direction. So the onboarding tech is really important. Obviously to kind of get the collaborations rolling and get people signed up not only to INLEO but all different Hive UIs. So we're going to start with open sourcing the onboarding tech. That's probably going to happen relatively soon. I've been obviously saying that within the first 60 days of the INLEO proposal passing, I want to open source that stuff. So, we keep fighting with this line, but I'm hoping that by the end of today, we can get above the line in a significant enough way that we're not battling with it every single day. And then from there, from the point of open sourcing it, I want to kind of further develop it, and obviously, once it's open source, others in the community can start to look at it and give us ideas to improve it. Right now it's Keystore and Leo Auth, but we actually have in beta, Control Wallet and a bunch of other extensions. There's like 30 different wallets. And we're integrating all of these different wallets into the options. And all of this stuff will essentially just make it ridiculously easy to sign up and sign into Hive at any point. And then over time we can, kind of offboard those people into like, things like Hive Keychain, which will always have superior superior security because, like I said, they operate in a sandbox. So the big announcement for today. We've been we've been working on all these different sign-in methods, but there are limitations that exist when you're just building these sign-up methods and it's a website. It's like I keep saying, Keychain will always have that superior security because it operates in the sandbox of an extension. One thing I've wanted to do is bring more cross-chain features as an extension to the Hive blockchain, and just kind of actually turn a lot of INLEO features into an extension as well. Where, like, for example, if you see like a cool news article, the INLEO extension would allow you to quote that article and share it as a thread, for example, or make a video really easily, or sign into other Hive apps like you can do with Keychain. So the devs and I a few months ago sat down and we were like, well, what if we built an extension for Hive that allowed people to sign up and sign into Hive, using all these various methods that we've created, but doing so in a much more secure environment because, like I said, it's a sandbox environment. So it would add a lot of security if we did this. It would also add a lot of ease of use, and we could drive more signups using it because the extension can be advertised to do more than just, Hive features. We can obviously have it do a lot of different features. For example, like being active on X and then actually paying people for being active on X as Leo tokens on Hive. So we can say like if you make X posts, you'll earn like fractions of Leo for those posts, and obviously it won't be a lot, but it'll be just enough to convince them to say, okay, well now you're earning on X. You can actually earn more if you also post on INLEO. So it would allow you to do things like back up your whole X account to the Hive blockchain. It would allow you to do things like earn fractions of Leo for your posts on X, which obviously is just a kind of like a little, fishing hook that we throw out there to try to convince people to come over to Hive and InLeo. And then adding other features that are kind of adjacent to that. So, the overall goal here is make an extension that can entice people to sign up to Hive and make an extension that then when they sign up, it's even more secure than the methods we've created. And then they can also go and sign into all the other Hive UIs the same way that you do with a Hive keychain, for example. So taking a lot of the features of, that Hive keychain has, and then also making some cross-chain features and some kind of external facing features that can convince people to sign up to Hive through that extension, I think is a really great way to kill a lot of birds with one stone, which is to make it more enticing to sign up, to make it easier to sign up, to make it more secure to sign up, and then to make all the, compatibility between Hive UIs that much better. So we've been kind of developing this extension behind the scenes. And as part of our proposal, with onboarding more InLeo technology, or sorry, open sourcing more InLeo technology and starting with the onboarding tech that we've built, we're also going to open source all this extension technology. So when we get closer to a final product, we'll open source the whole thing, release the, finalized version. And then I think we'll be in a really good place to onboard even more users than we are already, which is obviously, like I said, having this kind of externally facing extension that also gives you the internally facing Hive features, being able to sign into different UIs, etc. So this is going to be another open source contribution that we make to Hive, which is in the form of an extension.
Continuing to build, build, build. Huh. Self-help patrol said, once we get onboarding moving, I think priority should be debugging everything and building out existing features. I mean, it makes sense. I feel like you guys are always in debug mode. Task.
Yeah,
More
when you guys
data.
report feedback, we're always fixing stuff.
Fix it. That's interesting. I keep seeing people mention keychain and like the speed of it. I don't know. Maybe it's depends on location because like I pretty much exclusively use keychain when it comes to Hive, and I don't have any delays. It's always worked great for me. Um, Nifty said I was promised feet. Well, you need to ping task for that. Sweet. All right. So that was set announcements.
Yes.
All right, cool. Well,
Yeah.
peoples, if you got questions, get them in because we're probably gonna wrap in a few because
Yeah. I think we
guys
got a
dealing with
lot.
firestorms, so we're keeping this one short. Um, but if you got any questions, throw them in there now. And then yeah, if there's any loose ends you have, Cal, feel free to get them out into the ether now. I'm scrolling through to see if there's any questions we missed.
Nifty said he was promised feet.
Yeah,
Um, yeah,
Lucille
we are
said, go ahead.
no, yeah, we're just I think a good way to wrap all that up, and I know, obviously we're just kind of in a million directions right now with everything going on, but to kind of put a neat bow on that, the way that INLEO is kind of pushing forward, the future vision of our place on Hive is to contribute open source code to the ecosystem. Essentially the tagline would be what INLEO is doing going forward is what we've always done, which is kind of innovate all these new features and functionalities, really making Web3 accessible to the average person. So we've done that in the past with things like developing microblogging on Hive with the containers and as you guys know, with threads and threadcasts and all the different things that we've done, like that. So, we're going to maintain that approach of innovating ways to use Hive that are different, unique, and ultimately with that goal of again targeting that external user and bringing them into the Hive ecosystem. Um, and while we do that, in the past we've done that in a closed source way. But going forward, I'm very happy with INLEO's current status and our state in terms of how we've developed into a project. So, in the early days, I was a little bit worried that going open source too early would change the vision and kind of silo us into having to develop things in a certain way. But I'm very happy with where INLEO is today. And I think going forward, if we open source our entire code base in terms of the social media technology that we build on Hive, um, and we make our proposal about and this is the way I've phrased it to a lot of people, make our proposal about open sourcing our technology, and obviously we're going to continue to maintain that technology and build and improve it and continue to innovate new features like we've done in the past with threads and onboarding and other things. But instead of getting paid from the DHF in order to, pay devs and expenses and whatever, I want the DHF not to pay us as a team, but to pay to take those things to market. So we're creating, INLEO's vision is now we're creating open source social media technologies for Hive, and we're asking for funding to take those to the broader crypto market, um, and get adoption for them. Because if you build it, they're not going to come. You need to both build it and market it to the right audience and show them how it can improve their life. That's the real key to all of this. Is people are only going to sign up, sign in, and go through these jump through these hoops if it has a material impact on their life. So my vision has been to just build the best social media app that we can build that gets people, captivates attention and gets people to join Web3. And that's a very hard thing to do. There's a reason why, I don't think anybody's really been that successful at it. So, that vision is still the same, but now we're going to do it in an open source way. Uh, and we want to do it in a way that benefits the entire Hive ecosystem and all the different apps on Hive. So I invite, like, if you have a Hive app, if you know any Hive apps, we're obviously moving towards this open source vision. We're going to start by open sourcing the onboarding code and the sign up methodologies. And then over time, my goal is just to open source the entire INLEO project in terms of the social media stuff and the back end for the social media stuff. So we're going to open source all of that. And then our work on Hive will continue the way it always has. But instead of doing it in a closed source way, we're going to do it in an open source way. And then, like I said, ask the DHF for the funding to take those things to market. So that's our vision going forward. This is a big material, like literally a order of magnitude change in the way that we function and operate on Hive, which is, a complete change from what we've done in the past, which is, we've been building in our little sandbox and making things the best way we can make them. And now I'm very happy with kind of like the state that we've reached, like the end state. Obviously, we're not at the end, But now we're in a position where we could take these things open source, and I think there's a lot of good developers on Hive that can help us make things more secure, help us make things easier to use, and push our technology forward in a way that we've always wanted to, which is just faster, better, bigger at a larger scale. So the INLEO team will continue to maintain the code and obviously innovate. But then I would love to see more Hive projects and developers get active. And I think that this kind of opens up the pathway to doing stuff where we can have bounties in Leo for developers who want to contribute to the open source code and things like that. So we are we're moving forward in a big way, in my opinion, and we're moving forward in a way that benefits Hive even more than we've ever benefited Hive in the past by building our technology in a sandbox. Now we're just building it in an open, public, open source way. And I think it's going to be, if you thought InLeo was valuable for Hive before, I think it just makes us that much more valuable going forward.
I like it. Good deck pitch.
Thank you.
Almost, almost TED Talk worthy.
Yeah, almost. I got to refine it a little bit for a TED Talk
Yeah.
and then
Need a
get a nice
little,
little red stage.
a little bit. Yeah, exactly. A little bit longer. That's TED Talks are long-winded, so that's more of a deck pitch. What else we got? Some opinions on advertising. Obviously, DHF. Bounties would be nice. People think that InLeo is valuable for Hive.
Yeah, the Hive tuber
Cool.
said INLEO is the
Cool.
most valuable for Hive. Hard to argue with that. Yeah, I mean, we've building INLEO has been no easy task. But we've continued to push forward through all sorts of ups and downs. I mean, we've seen multiple crypto cycles. We've seen, attacks on the project. We've, tried a lot of things that haven't worked. We've, had to go back to the drawing board. We've rebuilt our UI from scratch like 3 times in the past. Um, INLEO's been through a lot, which is uh, what convinces me that we can not only make it through this, but come out even stronger. Because I think that's kind of a common theme for us is that, we go through these hard times, but they ultimately make us stronger, make us better, and improve the project in ridiculous number of ways. So, we're always learning, improving, taking in the feedback, and just trying to make things as great as we can.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's the life of an entrepreneur, life of building a business, right? So, yeah, you got to go through the winters to get to spring. But cool.
Yep,
All
absolutely.
right. Well, I mean, if you want to wrap, I think
Yeah.
there's not really any questions kept.
Yeah,
Du- du- du-
I
du.
would say my closing thoughts would be spread the word that INLEO is going open source and that's, kind of the core of our proposal is that, we're going open source. The main thing that will go open source first is going to be this onboarding tech, but over time, over the course of this year, really, we're going to open source the entire INLEO social side of things. So like the INLEO UI. And
Which,
again,
okay.
just really prove that we're trying to bring maximum benefit to Hive because that's what we've always been trying to do. But I know that that can be seen in different ways. So, um, that's the vision going forward is just open source everything and make it max benefit to Hive.
Word.
Cool. Any closing thoughts, Mitch?
When number go up. That's about it. I'm just a overall crypto investor that happens to frequent in Leo. So when number go up for the whole crypto market.
Self-help patrols. Maybe I'll open source my love life. That's pretty funny.
I feel like the cat's already done that. I should get a reality deal, like
You should.
where someone with the camera. That's right. Start spreading the news. We're going open source. Cool. All right.
Cool.
Well, I'm gonna
Sounds good. We
watch
will,
Bitcoin bounce.
yeah, we'll watch Bitcoin bounce up. We'll get to open sourcing all this onboarding tech sooner than later. I'm thinking we may be a lot ahead of schedule in terms of the 60 days, given some things
Nice.
that have happened today. So
Nice.
we will most likely open source very soon, possibly this, in the coming days. So I'm going to push the team a little bit and see what we can do. Um, just to kind of I want to get this proposal, well over the return and keep pushing forward without delays. I think that's kind of my big thing right now is I just want to keep pushing forward with no delays. So so yeah, look forward to the code being open source and if you want to help in, pushing us more over the line, I would say spreading the word that we're open sourcing not only the onboarding tech but other parts of INLEO as well over the course of 2025. That will um, probably help convince more people who are on the fence about INLEO to support the proposal. I would say a good percentage of the proposals on the DHF surround open source technology of some kind. And the key difference for us is that we are open sourcing our technology, but the funding we get will be used to then go out and market that technology. So that's kind of a critical change for us and something that means a lot to me, which is not only to build it and hope that they'll come, but to build it and market it so that they'll come. So thanks for listening, everybody. It was a little bit of a quicker AMA, but we will catch you guys later this week.
Cool. All right. Everybody have fun threading.
Peace out.
Later.